You are listening to the Your Empty Nest Coach podcast with Coach Christine, episode number 21. Let's talk about your excuses. This podcast is for you, a mother who years ago walked away from a career to raise your child. Sure, you've been busy volunteering, carpools, maybe part-time work, and taking care of everyone. But your main gig? That has been your child. Now that they are in their later years of high school, the empty nest looms ahead for you and it is freaking you out. I've been there and I get it. Together, we'll turn our freaking out energy into freaking awesome energy. Hello, my empty nest friend. Thanks for listening today. You made time for you and you are listening to my podcast. That means the world to me. I may not know your name, but I see a new listen and that always makes me smile. I've got to tell you, getting these podcasts out in the world is no small amount of work. From start to finish, my checklist is significant. I have 2 other amazing colleagues that assist me, and it takes hours and hours to just get one of these episodes to you. I do it for you, and if you are enjoying it, the best way to let me know is to take time to rate and review the podcast in Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening to your podcast, or share it with a friend. Thanks so much. And a special shout out to my team, Beth and Felicia. Thank you for your dedication and support. You are the best. Okay, now for you, my friend, let's talk about those excuses. In my last episode, we discussed you figuring out how to get to your future result. As soon as you begin to work on these future results and plans, excuses tend to pop up in your mind. It makes sense. Your mind likes what it knows. It wants to stay comfortable and will find a way to keep doing what it is doing because, hey, it is easier. And I'm going to give you a little tough love in this episode. When you use an excuse, what you are really saying is, I didn't want it enough. Think about it. If you did want it enough, you would ignore the excuse. It wouldn't stop you from anything. It would be back to your friend telling you that you're going to wake up as a turtle tomorrow. Complete nonsense to your mind, so you don't even give it a second thought. So here's the question. Do you want that excuse or even those excuses to be the reason that you don't get to your result? So I want you to learn to expect the excuses and to look for them. As you do the work to plan on getting to your results, write down every excuse that appears in your mind. You know, things like, I don't have enough time. That's too much work. I can't make a decision. My family won't support me. I have too much going on to even make that a priority. Write them all down when you notice them and take a look at them periodically so that you begin to tune into them when they crop up in your mind. You may notice that you say one of them quite often. You could even ask your friends and family, and I bet they know your go-to excuses. I know, that's a dare, isn't it? Anyway, as you notice an excuse that you use, imagine that it is a sign for you that you simply have an obstacle that you need to overcome. From there, you can create a to-do list or a plan to defeat it. If you find that you are super comfortable with a particular excuse and don't want to let go of it, I'd like you to imagine that specific excuse written on your tombstone. Yeah, I know. How does that feel? If you use the excuse a lot, maybe that should be on your tombstone. But here's the thing. Do you want it to be? You can choose. And what would you put in its place? You can even draw a tombstone around each of your excuses because in a way, they are the death of your progress toward your result. If you use the excuse and give into the excuse, how can you possibly move forward? But this isn't really your tombstone. It's just a visualization. So you may identify those excuses and choose to bury them. You are alive. You are here and you can change the writing on the tombstone or visualize burying the whole thing and never use that excuse again. You might find that it will work its way out of the ground and attempt to get back in your life. But if you are in tune with identifying it, you have the opportunity to see it and note, oh, there's an obstacle I need to plan to overcome. And then put that excuse back in the ground. Bury it. Your mind is going to want to boss you around and keep you comfortable for sure. But my friend, you can be the boss of your mind and use it to do great things. So notice your excuses and make a decision that they aren't the boss of you. I know you are worth doing this work, my future empty nest friend. As I said in the last episode, future you is waiting for you and she's cheering you on. If you are ready to dig in and create a change in your own life that impacts both you and those around you, I invite you to join my upcoming coaching program. Be sure to get on my waitlist as space is always limited. Feel like you're missing something? Head back to my Empty Nest Prep episodes. They start in episode number 3 to learn more about your thoughts and feelings. Are you curious about all this future talk? Then check out episode number 13, where I talk about discovering future you. The questions I have for you in this episode are, what is your go-to excuse? Knowing your go-to excuse, are you ready to bury it forever? Fly on over to our Facebook group. Our name is Green Popsicle Sticks. Want to know why? Then listen to episode number 17. Or head to my website, youremptinesscoach.com/community for links to join our flock. Why should you join our group? Well, the adjustment to not having your kiddos at home full-time isn't always easy, but it sure can be a ton more fun with a flock of friends. We look forward to seeing you there. As always, I provide content to make you think, my empty nest friend. My hope is that I'm able to provide you with thoughts that positively impact your life. You'll also find show notes for this and every single episode on my website. My next episode's title is My Favorite Thursday Thoughts About. I'm going to share some of my favorite thoughts that I have emailed to my email list. If you are a first-time listener, or even if you've listened before and you've enjoyed this podcast, I have a favor to ask. If you could take the time to subscribe to this podcast, that would be fantastic. Also, if you have an extra moment to give this podcast a 5-star rating, it will help other future empty nest mothers to find it when they need it. Thanks for your time and energy with that, and thanks so much for listening, my empty nest friend. Remember, you are amazing. Oh, I love when there's noises in the house, and I don't know if it's getting picked up on the mic.